Here is our upper body push day routine, starting with a floor dumbbell or band squeeze press, whichever you choose. I'll show both variations. But here, keeping good shoulder position, really driving those dumbbells as hard as you can together, squeezing your pecs at the top. What we're trying to do is just initiate this whole series working on your chest and really gain some good intention, some good, if you want to call it mind, muscle connection with the pecs. Here you can see I'll move to the banded variation. You can choose either or. I flip this over to make an X with the band, that way it stays in position better. Put that right under the shoulder blades. Again, similar cueing, just driving arms up and together, really trying to gain a connection with the pecs, squeezing as hard as you voluntarily can at the top. Again, we're going to have to make lighter weights feel heavier, and basically what I call pick on yourself a bit with this. From there we move right into banded floor dumbbell press. Again, driving up in arms to your midline, trying to squeeze your pecs, trying to fatigue out as much as you can of that press musculature before we move into the push-up mechanical drop set. Now, what I'm going to do here is show you a regression, and I want you to pick two. And you start with the hardest one, go to one rep shy of technical failure, then go into the next level of regression, then go to technical failure. I'm using yoga blocks here for the first progression. You can see me resetting my abdominal wall and glutes for good posture, but like I said, you can use textbooks to elevate whatever you'd like to elevate your hands, even elevate your feet if you want to. And from here I'm moving to the floor, and from the floor I move to my knees. Again, the idea is that we're picking one or two regressions, and you go to one rep shy of technical failure on the first level, then all the way to technical failure at that final level, really just to get as much taxation on the pecs and pressing musculature as we can before we get into our stretch component of the Giant Set, which is a Doorway Pec Stretch. Now, you can use two arms or one arm. I'll go through both here, but see that I pack my shoulder blades back and down, brace the abdominal wall, it's heard that a lot, and then move forward and down to get a good stretch. And because I'm just weird, I like doing everything personally unilaterally. You can see I'm showing a single arm variation here. And then we'll move into our shoulder series and a Doorway Lateral Raise iso hold. Again, good shoulder position. And you can see me try to make this look really hard. Just make sure that you keep breathing, because this actually is hard. Just voluntarily push out as hard as you can. From there we move into a dumbbell lateral raise with a 1 1/4 rep fashion, doing the quarter rep at the top. One thing I want you to look at is my right eyebrow. For some reason in these movements I always keep it higher. I have no idea why I do that. It's weird. But the idea here is a lot of tension and time spent at the top before we move into a dumbbell overhead press. And with this, don't make fun of me, I suck at shoulder pressing, so I'm using the lighter weight so I don't look horrible. And we're keeping the dumbbells outside of the shoulders the whole time if it looks a little bit weird to you, but that keeps extra torque on the shoulder joint, extra tension in the deltoid, so we can make our lighter weights feel heavier. And then finishing off with a stretch component of the shoulder series with a band over and back stretch. Notice as I'm coming over, my hands or palms come towards the ceiling as my shoulder externally rotates. A big thing here is we're looking for a decent amount of shoulder movement, but we don't want a lot of lower back movement. So you can see me get into posterior pelvic tilt, abdominal brace, and then try to, as I come over, reach as far back as I can without creating any of that compensation. See me resetting it there. So we can finish off, and really these will burn, trust me, after you've done the rest of the stuff. And from there we move into the tricep series. We're going to do a band tricep extension. You can dock this similar to what I'm doing here. Throw it over the top of a door and close it. But we start off the mechanical drop in this standing, getting closer to a shortened position of the tricep, moving to a little more mechanical advantage into the more mid-range. Again, we're trying to just pre-fatigue basically the triceps here and contract as hard as you can at that bottom position, at the most extended position, so that really can leverage the lighter weight with the next movement, which is a floor dumbbell skull crusher. Now, like any other floor movement, I love these because you can really have kinesthetic awareness of where your shoulder blades are at the whole time. I have a lot of trouble with that, but make sure that's a good position. You can see that what I'm doing here is a 2-second hold about the mid-range and a 2-second hold at the bottom range, just to increase time under tension. And as I will actually go through, as I go through these repetitions, I'll move my elbow joint a bit back relative here to my shoulder joint, just to make the movement actually a little bit harder. But again, all we're trying to do is increase time under tension, make lighter weights feel heavier, and doing those 2-second pauses. And we're going as many reps as you can here to fatigue out before we move to our stretch for the series, which is a towel triceps stretch. You can go up against the wall. Just make sure that you're not arching at your lower back. You can see me setting my abdominal wall there as I move into the stretch, and then obviously doing both sides. And I figured I would do the ab series. Now you can put this with any of the workouts if you want. We're going to start with a leg lever, as you've heard me say 1,000 times. Brace your abdominal wall, decrease the space under your lower back, and slowly descend your legs down as far as you can. This is a great anti-lumbar extension exercise for your abs. You'll feel a little bit in your hip flexors too. If that's too much, you can do the regress version. Again, have to keep that back down, knees in to your chest, and then reaching out. And here we're going to go 1 rep shy of technical failure, just to really get some good abdominal work in, and without doing a ton of exercises. In this abdominal series, I go from the leg lever to a side plank hip hike. Now I'm going to do the progress version first, keeping good shoulder position. You can honestly do this as a hold if you wanted to too, but I just created it with movement, dropping your hip to the ground, then driving that back up to a neutral position. And you'll feel this a lot on that working sides oblique or external oblique. From there, moving into a regress version and knees bent. Same thing. You can do this as a hold, or you can do it as the hip hike version. And make sure, obviously, that you do both sides, and that wraps up our push day.